Hello, everybody. Hello, how's everybody today? It's cold here in Vancouver today, but chilly, but no rain yet. So let's keep our fingers crossed. You know, I'm excited about today's topic this week, walking with Tina, because, there's a lot of blended families out there, and that was one of the comments that I had from one of the listeners, was what to do in a blended family. And there's so many, whether it's children from both sides that have come together or children from one side and not the other. And there's so many different things that we really need to look after and do, because if we don't, everything that you've built up in your life goes to the other family. So it depends on what you want for a legacy. So today's topic is blended families. And blended families consist of whether or not you want to have everything equal for each side, or whether or not you want it, I'm going to give you an example. I had a client whose mom and dad divorced, and the dad went on to marry a woman in his 70s. But the man's side of the family, the kids, the client that I was speaking to, they had an issue because now that everything was married to this new younger woman in her 50s, and their dad is 75 or whatever it is. Now what? What about the legacy? What about the estate plan that the dad has? What does that look like? So if the dad passed away, everything would roll into the new wife. And the new wife, of course, would have their own children. And so everything on one side of the legacy now then goes over to the one side. And it's very disheartening and very sad, actually. I've done a lot of life insurance to compensate for the differences. Like, okay, if I leave my kids X amount, $500,000 each or something, then the other estate part will be okay to move into the other side. But it takes a little bit of figuring out, because if you don't have a plan, you're screwed. Because if something happens to you, and you might be in this new relationship, but you're not married yet, and you haven't actually divorced your other person, that person can come into the hospital and decide what he or she wants for you. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want my ex deciding on anything for me. It probably wouldn't be good, right? So it makes it very difficult, and that's why with separation, a lot of times marriages don't always get divorced right away. You take your time, or you go through paperwork and you just wait, and there's no reason to rush and blah, blah, blah. But there is a reason to rush. There is a reason to create a new will in your new life, and there's a new rush to have a power of attorney for a new relationship, because you don't want the ex coming into the picture and deciding for you. So other than that, a big of the problem of the blended families is making sure that you have everything that you need. Meaning, does your stuff, if something happened to you today, will it go to your kids, to your previous family, and not to the new family? Or do you want it to go to the new family? Those are all things that you have to decide upon. That's not up to anybody else, unless it's too late, and then you have no choice. No decision, no choices, nothing. So I hope you got something from today's little description of blended families and how that creates a mess, especially in a small business. If the husband had a small business, that gets into a messy situation too, because what do you want done with those assets from that? Do you want it from the old family? Do you want it to the new family? Those are all decisions, and they don't all just be happily married. No, it doesn't work that way. When the push comes to shove, nothing is very pretty. So make sure that you have your crap, your stuff together in the way that you want it to be. So that if you want half of it to go to your previous family, or all of it, or whatever that looks like for you. But it doesn't go that way if you don't have a plan. So with your backup plan, we go through those types of things, and we have monthly workshops, webinars online on our Facebook group, and we talk about different topics where you actually come on to the workshop and talk about your situation, or your family situation, or your aunt's situation. And that's all cool, because it helps somebody else in the situation as well. So I'd be happy to have you come on to our Facebook group. It's the VIP group for your backup plan. It's on Facebook. Join if you haven't, so that you can get onto some of these workshops. We hold little pretend workshops with regards to family conversations, how to have that family conversation, not having it just one-on-one with somebody, but in a group, how to do that, what that looks like. And we hold a mock family conversation group, and that's really fun because we have coffee and alcohol and appies and all sorts of fun stuff. And we try to take the taboo out of the topic, like, let's just have fun, let's answer the questions, and let's do it, because it's much nicer when you have a sense of a brain to answer questions than in the time when there is a death and you're stuck having to answer these questions that you know nothing about because your brain can't think. And so I always talk about having a preparation, having a plan, so that you can know what your dad wants, or know what your mom really wants, or know what does your sister want, know what your husband or spouse or partner or wife looks like. What does your teenage son who just left the house, what does that look like? What are their passwords look like? Where are the passwords? And how do you get into their social media if something did happen? So these are just a few little tips and tricks. Not much about blended families on that topic, but I couldn't help it. But I know it's so hard to have these conversations, and I hope that I make it better for everybody to realize that it's just life. And we talk about where we're going next on a travel trip. We talk about what our itineraries look like. And we talk about all of those things, but we don't talk about what we want when we die. Why not? Why not? Let's start. Because if, we have so much fun in the workshops with family conversation, and it might be a little bit messy when it comes to a blended family, and that's okay, because there's a lot of emotions around that. So we try to make it clear, and my nose keeps running because it's so damp and cold today. It's so cold. I wish I was in the sunshine. So listen, everybody, do what you can. Start thinking about these things now. And every Friday at 3 o'clock, we'll come on board. We'll come and talk about a new topic. Last week, we talked about Lisa Marie Presley and her estate. And yeah, it's actually not too bad. It's a little messy, but not too bad. And so if you didn't get to see that show, check on our YouTube channel. We have it situated over there after on the next day. So it's already up. And I did try in my Tina way to read Lisa Marie Presley's message to her, to grieving people after her son passed away. She had done a television interview on People and talked about her son Benjamin, who passed away, and what that looks like when you're grieving. And I couldn't even get through it. It was so hard. I tried not to cry, but I couldn't help it. And it's just so incredibly invigorating. It's so magical, like her words that she uses and her experience that she had is just so spot on, 100%. And so if you missed that, check that out too. And try not to listen to me crying. I try not to. But listen, everybody, it was nice to see you guys today. And love each and every one of you. Stay safe, be kind. Till next week.